Hi, I'm Jessica Sittimer, and welcome to Your Storyline Studio, where writers like you level up your craft and your career. This is part two. I was going to say part deux, and doing French. This is part two of getting a mentor. So in the last video, if you haven't watched it, give it a watch because we want you to come up with a list of 20 people who you're going to reach out to. And today we're going to talk about how to reach out to them. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have researched them, that you have found something about them that maybe not everybody is saying. So let's say you wanted to reach out to me, and everybody who reaches out to me for business advice has read my business books. But if somebody were to say to me, I loved your business books, but I really got a kick out of your rom-com chemistry, that's going to make them stand out because most people don't go out of their way to read a nonfiction book when they're focused on business, right? So you want to look for things that are genuine to you and why you want to talk to this person. So once you have that, then you are going to want to make sure you have a way to reach them, whether it be a mailing address for their production company or their publishing house or their agency, depending on who in the business you are writing to, or if they're a writer, maybe you can send it to the writer's agent so that they can pass it on to them, and you have a way to reach them, whether it be through mail or email or through social media. Okay, or maybe they're Substack. Maybe they have a Substack. Okay, so you're going to write a letter, and in the first paragraph, you're going to talk about you. You're going to introduce yourself, tell them why you are writing. Because if they don't know that from the moment you get in there, they're going to be like, who is this person? Why are they writing to me? So let them know who you are. My name is Jessica Sittimer. I am a writer, and I have loved reading your business books, but your book Chemistry really, made me laugh and smile. And I love that there are those two sides of you. And then you can say a little bit, I've been writing books for 5 years. I've never been published, but I'm really curious about the publishing industry. Then you're going to go into the second paragraph and talk to them about what exactly it is that you want. Okay, and that's mentorship. Now, as far as mentorship goes, what you are asking for is 3 conversations, because it takes 3 conversations to create a relationship. 3 conversations, a minimum of 10 minutes each, either by phone or by Zoom, whatever it might be, over a 3-month period. So we're talking once a month, minimum of 10 minutes. I mean, that's something people can say yes to, right? So that's what you're asking for. And just let them know specifically those things. And then in the third paragraph, you're going to talk about why you chose them. And this is where you really go into detail. So if you mentioned my book at the beginning, you're going to talk a little bit about what it was about the book that really touched you, why it is that you want my advice. You've seen that I've published this many books. You want to know how I got them published and things like that. So that the person knows that this isn't just a book, a form letter that ChatGPT wrote that you could send to anybody, okay? That they know that you took the time to really talk about them and let them know why they are special. And then in the fourth paragraph, it's a short one, you're going to give them your contact information and tell them when you're going to follow up with them. Okay, so if I don't hear from you by this date, I will follow up with you, and then make it, a few days after the date that you gave them. This way, they know that you're going to call, because that's the thing that tends to stop people from following up. If they don't have that, okay, I wrote in the letter that I was going to call on November 19th. If you don't write that, then you could be tempted to just never follow up and be like, well, I guess they weren't interested. They didn't write to me. It's not that. They get so much information in one day, right? And if you wrote them a letter, they get so much mail. If you sent them an email, it can get lost in the email. If you sent them a DM, they might not even realize it's there. It might have gone to that secondary, not the primary, but the secondary DMs. But either way, you're going to follow up if you don't hear back from them. Now, I've been pretty lucky with my mentors. I've written them really strong letters, and their assistants or whatever called me. So I never really had to follow up. So that's a good thing. If you don't have to follow up, But if you do, make sure you do, because that could be the first test from your mentor. Okay, I was going to write back to them, but let's see if they actually do follow up, because how many people really follow up? Well, you want to be that person who follows up. So make sure you follow up, and then once they say yes, you say, great, let's plan our first conversation. Now, if you gave them your phone number, you've got to be prepared with your questions before you send that letter out. You want to have 3 professional questions planned out for your first conversation so that some of them lead into a question that they're going to give you advice on. Does that make sense? If not, put it in the comments below and I will clarify. But the bottom line is you want to make sure you're always getting advice that you have to follow through on so that you leads to having your second conversation, so that leads to having your third conversation. Because once you have those 3 conversations, the person is going to know who you are and remember you. Okay? They're also going to learn to like and trust you because you're doing the things that they're telling you to do. All right, so that is how to get a writing mentor. So what I want you to do is write all 20 of those letters and send them on the same day. This way you can't just send out one and then you're like, oh, I didn't hear from them. That didn't work. Nope. Send out all 20. And if you hear back from 3, well, that's 3 new mentors you have. And that's something to celebrate. Okay, go write.